You're very welcome back. Now, last year, over 200,000 people took part into Darkness into Light walks around the world across 5 continents with the aim of sharing the light, helping to promote suicide prevention and tackling the stigma around it. And this year's walk will take place next Saturday.
Now, joining us to share their own experiences with mental health are Gaelic footballer Shane Carthy and from Pieta House, Brian McAvoy. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi,
Brian,
guys.
Before we talk to you, Brian, about the event next weekend, Shane, we might just start with you because you've come out and let the public know about your own personal struggles with mental health over the years. Going back to, let's go back to, say, 2013 when you won the All-Ireland in Dublin. Something I found interesting was the celebrations, you didn't really celebrate them. There was something wrong there. There was something not right.
Yeah, externally it would have been, you know, people would have seen me up on those steps and lifting the Sam Maguire, 18 years of age.
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Little did people know, not only my family, but everyone else outside of that, I was going through inner turmoil for a year and a half at that stage. You know,
Really?
So you should have been on top of the world.
Should have been on top of the
And
world.
it looked like that from an outsider's point of view that you were.
Yeah, I put up that mask, I put up that poker face and just said everything was okay. My crutch, my medication at that time was football. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah,
and,
that's
you
your
know,
world.
That was my world, and that was my escape. That was my cope mechanism at that
And what
stage.
was going on in your head?
I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't make sense of it. I was having the internal dialogue that I wanted to say something to my mum and dad. I wanted to speak up, but I couldn't make sense of it in my own head. The cloudiness in my head was just far too deep at this stage that I didn't know what I wanted to say. So
But eventually you did say something to your mum and dad.
yeah.
What was the turning point there? What made you say, no, I have to say something?
Well, it was unfortunately, you know, it was 2 years into my journey with depression, and I was having thoughts of dying by suicide. And that was the stark reality of what I was faced with. I didn't want to feel that way. I didn't want to think that way. But unfortunately, that's where my mind was taking me.
That's where you were.
Yeah. And I just sat down with my mum and dad and I just said, listen, the cracks are beginning to appear here. You can see it. I can certainly notice.
And would they have known that there was a problem?
Towards the end, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, towards the end, I was crying on call. I was coming into the house with bloodshot eyes after crying in the car for so many hours. And they knew something wasn't quite right.
Okay.
And something that was interesting, a figure that appears then, is that they organised you to go and see Desi Farrell, who, and that sort of changed everything, did it?
Yeah, so
He
Desi
put you on a path.
Yeah, so Desi would have been manager for the Under-21 Championship campaign at that stage. And, you know, I confided in him maybe a bit more than I did with anyone else because he had previous with depression and he was a psychiatric nurse. He had the
Plus he
context
knew
there.
you.
He knew me as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he knew me to be, you know, quiet at the best of times, but I think he too did know that there wasn't something quite right with me.
Yeah.
I had approached him and I just said, listen, I'm going through this for the last 2 years. I'm struggling here. I need help. And you know, thankfully he set up the necessary appointments and got me into St. Patrick's Mental Hospital where I spent 11 weeks there.
But it's so lucky, really, when you think about it, that your parents had that person, the right person, the person who was so well equipped to talk to you and also knew you as the, you know, lovely guy that you are. So they were so lucky to have that person, weren't they?
Yeah, and that's, from my own personal experience, I was extremely lucky to have that person in the shape of Desi Farrell, who, you know, changed the shape of my life and where I am today. And, you know, not everyone has it, but my advice to people would be confide in someone that you trust in, whether it be your mum, dad, friend, whoever it may be. Just speak up. It doesn't have to be your whole story.
Would you say sometimes, you know, you're thinking of your mum and dad and how close you are and they're the people that you love the most in the whole world. Do you think they're the people that are the hardest to tell stuff like that too because you don't want to hurt them?
Exactly, and very oftentimes, even for me, around that time, my family was going through a difficult stage. My mum had just lost both her mum and dad in the space of 6 weeks. So the internal dialogue that I was having was whatever I'm going through in my life can't compare to what she's going through, you know? And it's that, you know, that protection mechanism.
You don't want to burden them with any more.
Exactly, yeah.
But one of the key messages, as Anna said, is that talk to somebody, and that's exactly what Pieta House is there for, to let people know that the help is there.
Absolutely.
There are people who are there, trained people there to listen to you, Brian.
Yeah, and even the 1800 number that we have, the 24/7 helpline, that's there for people, 1800 24/7, 24/7. Whether you're going through something or you know someone is going through something, call that number.
Or if, like yourself, Brian, your family was affected.
Yeah.
You might remind people of what happened.
Yeah,
to your family.
I unfortunately lost my brother to suicide in 2007, Adrian, and it just came out of the blue, completely out of the blue. I was living in Australia and got that call that no one ever wants to get, and yeah, just couldn't understand it, why this had happened. And you still have those questions even now, 12 years on.
And you had to make that horrendous journey home. And I remember you telling us about that before, Brian.
Yeah.
Such a just horrific experience to have to fly home. You're living your best life in Australia, and then it all comes crashing to an end. And you had a big family, but you didn't know where to turn, did you?
That's it. It's just that journey home, and I was thinking about it this morning that I was in love with Australia. Really, really loved it there. And when I went back, it was a completely different country to me. It just it held all that bad memories, and eventually came home. But we as a family kind of we stuck together and said, right, we need to do something to try and help others and to make sure that no one goes through what we have gone through. And we were put on to Pieta House, and just a life-changing organisation, really it is.
But it's about getting the message out there that Pieta House is there, and people like that are there to help you. Like you've done some talks now in schools and colleges.
Yeah.
That's hugely important to get that message out there, that you can get through it. You can get through it.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's why I do it. I would have loved someone to come in 6-7 years ago when I was going through it, and that's why I do. I go to schools and clubs right across the country, and even if I can resonate with one person in that room, that's one more life that I've saved there. So
Absolutely. And, we're so quick to say my knee is broken or, I have a sore ankle, but we're not so quick. I think we're getting better, but we're not so quick to say my head is broken or my brain is broken or there's a part of it that isn't working so well. And ultimately, that's what it is, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's the even keel that I'm trying to, put it on. As you said, I walk into a room on crutches, people, not a moment's hesitation. What happened to you? What's wrong with your leg?
Yeah, yes. All right.
In my head, I had a broken mind, and it should be on the even keel. It should be on that, conversation of how's the head today? How are you getting on?
And what can I do to help you?
What can I do to help you? Exactly.
That's the key one, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And it can just be something as simple as just sit down and let me talk for 20 minutes.
Yeah, just air it out.
Just open it out.
Yeah. Put it out
and talk to someone. It doesn't matter who it is, does it? Just open that conversation. Start the conversation.
Yeah, and that's the question that I get asked all the time. What would be your abiding advice? That would be mine, just to talk. That's where essentially I rebuilt my life.
Yeah.
From a simple, I wouldn't say a simple thing, but from a thing that I spoke to my mum and dad, that I'm not going through a great time here. And that's
But that puts you on the path then to be
Exactly.
put in front of the right people who are able to give you the help and advice you needed.
Yeah.
The event then next weekend, Brian, we've covered it for years on the show. It's got bigger and bigger. It's worldwide now. It's an incredible event, and it's very moving when we always show the pictures the next
So
day.
emotional, isn't
Yeah.
it?
When you watch people and the sun is right, it's incredibly moving.
Oh, it's as you said, it's grown and grown each year, and every year we're just overwhelmed by the support.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be at the first event in 2009 in Phoenix Park, 400 people.
That's right, yeah.
And
And 200,000 people last year.
No one ever thought on that morning that it would grow into what it
Staggering,
was.
isn't it?
And it's
But it also just goes to show you, Brian, how many people are affected by it in the country.
Absolutely, and
It's not a
testament-
silent thing anymore.
No, and it's a testament to Irish people that they've taken this on, and Irish people around the world. 16 countries this year, over 200 events, and it's just like they've grown it. They have grown it, and it's like we'd be nowhere without that support.
And anybody can go and take part. It's just about
Can you
awareness.
still sign up?
You can still sign up. Today is actually the last day to sign up for a guarantee of a T-shirt before the event. So get registered today if you want a T-shirt for the morning, but you can register right through the week and right up
And
until
what
the
time
event.
do you have to be there at?
We recommend 45 minutes.
Not all night, lads.
Irish tend to be a little bit late, but no.
And we'll be grand if we get parking. It'll be grand.
Fine, yeah.
Especially if you go to a large event like Phoenix Park, I'd recommend getting
Mayhem,
there in very good time.
So what time does it start at?
Starts at 4:15.
Okay.
So
AM,
4:15.
by the way.
AM,
Yes.
and it's a Friday night stroke Saturday morning, not Saturday morning.
Yes,
Saturday night stroke
exactly.
Sunday morning.
But look, we'll pop all the details up on
Yes.
our Facebook and website. Thank you for coming in and sharing your story again with us. And the same to you, Shane. Really appreciate
Glad to
your
see you
time.
doing so well, Shane, as well.
Thank
It's
you very
lovely
much.
to see you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
fellas. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Now, if you'd like to take part in next weekend's Darkness into Light, you can, of course, register at darknessintolight.ie.
And of course,
Get
for
in quick.
support and information in a time of crisis, please do visit pieta.ie.
Now, after the break, we'll have more summer styles over on the catwalk. Fashion is next.